this versus this versus this. Who is looking at the bigger picture? How is that bigger picture emerging? Are we really asking ourselves what can really go wrong for my bank? I think that's a really pertinent question. Well, more and more technologies come along.
Sure, I think thank you very much for that. And what we'll try to do is we should try and build a question around and let's ask this question during the course of the day in terms of how are we looking at an integrated enterprise risk management as a function, and how is issues of cyber risk and information security risk and cyber crime dovetailing into that overall enterprise risk management. Obviously, there are aspects related to the silos, there are aspects related to politics within the organization, and there are various other drivers which drive how much say you have in overall risk management framework. But I think it's absolutely important discussion that we need to have. So we should cover that. Thank you very much for that. Can you please raise hand? Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. And then we'll come to you, sir.
Hello everybody, I'm Akshita. So my question here is that, I work for the network engineering division in Goldman Sachs. So I see that the entire big data hype, right? We are going on talking about it, collecting a lot of data, and also I was reading somewhere here that being more proactive versus reactive. So, I would really like to get the thoughts on, the product leaders and industry leaders in this space, and how this is going to help in determining the future of cybercrime. Like, how can we be more and more reactive, because enterprise networks create a lot of data these days. So, and especially, in our organizations like a big bank, insider threat is a big challenge, right? So how can we, rather than looking outside, even from inside the threat we are getting, at least I think that we can use the data we are collecting. So, what would be the thoughts, and what are other people doing in the industry?
Yeah, it's a good point. We have a session on innovation in technology security. We should definitely cover this question there and have a debate around, how we are looking at how is analytics and, how is big data going to shape information security and cyber security. So let's cover that. Thank you. Yes, Manan.
Good morning, friends. My name is Manan. To start with, my colleague over here has hit the nail on the head when he's talking about giving information security risk, more importantly in the enterprise-wide risk management. Just to cling on to the same point, I would want to further this by talking about having information security weaved into the routine of every aspect of the ecosystem. This pertains more to business than anybody else, because technology is still somewhere connected very well with information security, although, as you rightly mentioned, Vishal, that on quite a few occasions we've noticed that we work in silos. But at the end of the day, it is also the business risk, the business security risks which are supposed to be considered, which are basically slipping through the gap today. So one part is where you have a very active, very efficient business risk management system, which takes care of all the businesses. Technology is very much focusing on the technology risk areas. Nobody is looking at the security risks which are. So that perhaps is one thing which I would want to highlight here, which relates to what my friend over here has mentioned. But I'm talking more of a culture now, wherein each one of us will have to own it up ourselves. So how will we want to look at this as a concept and try and imbibe it into our culture? That's one. And the second thing I would want to, this is more specific towards the mobility aspect. The statistics say that there's a rampant, attack vector, which is mobility, and this is furthering with, and you can only see it increasing in leaps and bounds. India is second largest in terms of a country which is adapting to mobility. What I would like to highlight here is the lack of technology controls which we can bring in to be able to come up with mobile applications in the enterprise unit. Although this very popular MAM concept is there, it does exist, but I'm not sure how effective it is, because when I was looking at it, we did a fair job in looking at all what is possible today, but the kind of controls, the kind of functions that we expect in the current technology are not there. So perhaps this could be more to the OEMs over here, if there are any who can give throw more light on this aspect.
Sure.
These are two things.
So I think, what good points. I think the business security risk we tried to cover in the last session in fraud management, and the mobility part we'll try to cover in the technology innovation, but I think we make a note of that. Can you take it to that, sir? There? Excuse me? Over there. Yeah, you got it? Okay, please.
I'm Sanjay from Tata Motors Finance. My question is, as far as bank's customers are concerned, I know a couple of incidences where the two customers of the bank, they faced some problem when they did online transactions. Now the bank's IT security and everything was so robust, but still that happened. Now what are the challenges and what are the measures that we win back the trust of the customers, that the customer is not scared the next time to do the online transactions from the bank's portal? Thank you.
Yeah. So the first session that we're going to have, we are having some of the banking folks in the panel. So perhaps we can cover that aspect of what are the steps that banks are taking to address cybercrime, and also what are the steps that regulator and the regulatory bodies are taking to address this challenge. So we'll try and cover that. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, good morning. I am Sushil from IDBI Bank. The question is that earlier we were having a concept of IT asset owner, right? Now the concept of risk owner has come up. So ideally, who should be the risk owner? I mean to say that when a business wants to go ahead with a particular product, okay, there would be certain risks associated with it. No matter, even if you are not able to provide the IT security for that product, the business wants to go ahead with it. Okay. So at that point, maybe the risk coverage that IT security can provide, it may take say 6 months, but before that the product has been launched. So at that point in time, who should be ideally the risk owner?
Sure. So I think again, this question we'll try to deal when we talk about fraud management, because that comes closest to the risk management aspect. But during the course, if there are panelists who want to try and answer that question, we'll try to cover that as a transition of how the owner of IT, who's finally accountable for the risk to a given asset, and where does the buck stop? Is the question, isn't it? So we'll try to get those perspectives. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Morning, I'm Sanjeev Dwivedi, from Bajaj Allianz. Okay. So, with the new security controls which are coming in system, it's in fact affecting our business speed. The speed with which we have to deliver and do the customer service. So, what all steps we are taking into consideration to ensure that speed doesn't hamper, the number of manpower doesn't increases, but the business keeps on growing. That is one question. Second part, we are selling insurance policies. There is a huge risk when these policies are being forged. We have to give PDF policies to the customer, but easily it is being forged and it is sold out in the market. As of now, we are not getting any solution on how to control those kind of fraud. You would like to throw your light?
Sure, sure. As you know, there's no silver bullet, and all the deliberations today is to trying to find some solutions to those problems and actually co-create and share, across. But I think specifically on the PDF and tampering part, hope to get some insights during the course of the day. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. This is Anita Ajlanka from Saraswat Bank. Yes, what I see is there are a lot of people here, partners here today. I'm sure they're all here to help us for detection of frauds, detection of the threats. I agree. But major challenge here is, okay, buying these softwares, we are able to detect, as he rightly said, it affects the procedures and all those is one part. But what after, suppose, despite, as one of our colleagues here told, that despite the robust system, the frauds are happening. And what is more challenging is, what is more suffering of the banks and maybe all the other institutions is, what after detection, suppose it is detected, how is our regulator, our law enforcement authorities really taking there is a decision, one fine day comes that banks should pay the compensation and losses and all that. But how properly are those things addressed, or how can there be some suggestions for addressing these issues?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the transition which is there is how are we reacting to the shift of requirement from, clearly we have to get the cyber security right, but how do we also become cyber resilient? And when you talk about cyber resiliency, we are talking about preparing the whole organization to respond, not only detect, but respond in a very methodical and a calculated way, and also decisive way to resolve some of these challenges.
There should be some proper framework at the regulators and the government level.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it is handled in a very haphazard way.
So it is not, it's not so bad. Having worked in the banking industry for so many years, I think there is some method that is there, and it has evolved over a period of time. Let's dwell and talk about that during the course of today's conversation. And perhaps again, the first panel, we should try and cover some aspects of that in terms of what are the steps that are already happening. We'll try to, pick it from our panelists. Hopefully that will give insights to that. And also, what are the opportunities that are there which we should take as next steps for collaboration, right? There's a hand over there.
Yeah, hi. This is Naveen from Nomura. I am heading the Security Operations Center. So actually, with a couple of questions that we have seen, it looks like you already addressed the part with the word collaboration. That's where I guess the pain point is. The frustration is only because probably someone is hit, the other guys don't know how and what has happened. Maybe we don't want to share specifics, but at least the way in say countries like US where they have financial services information sharing network, can we have something similar in India, or we already have it? Can it be publicized in this kind of forums where we are able to share information in terms of threats, remediation, and things like that, which can help in peer organizations to learn from each other and grow?
Sure. So I think there are some practices which are already set up. I know for banking system there is something which has been set up under IDRBT, which is called IB Card, which is focusing on sharing of cyber-related issues and helping each of the bank to understand what's happening and giving heads up. So that's the beginning. I think the intention is to try and create equivalent ISACs for other industries. I know there is some steps being taken in telcos as a next step to building on the same model. But yeah, I think there's lots to be done. These platforms are opportunities to collaborate, not just in this room but outside, to share and understand from each other what we can do, work together. But yeah, I think it's an important point. Let's try and cover those aspects as well. What we'll do is, since we have to now go to the next session, maybe we'll take last one question from yourself and then maybe from you, ma'am, and then we'll move to the next one. Yeah, please.
I would like to add what my colleague or rather one of the person from insurance company saying, that conversion of PDF into and forgery basically. Now, the problem we face is after the incidents happen, then the practical aspects to handle the same. Like basically when you go to police, they are not ready to take the FIRs and also practical aspects to handle such frauds. How to go about it, like what are the next steps to be taken, convincing management and all. So these are the things you can.
I think we'll take that in the last session because we're talking about fraud management.
Yes.
I've made a note of that, so we will cover that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm Anita Varghese from IndusInd Bank. I handle frauds, but at the same time I handle complaints also. So I would like to actually understand from the organization or participants, what do we do to ensure that before you offer a product like an online banking or a mobile banking, how do you educate the customers? And what is the obligation on the bank, because currently the orders and all which are coming up are mainly towards the customer. So even if the customer has made a mistake, compromised, and then the onus is on the bank to prove all that, and that becomes very difficult. So in the end it is that the bank has to pay. So at the same time, the customer requires to be educated before you board him for a particular product. That is one part. And second part is the DCSBI, which is applicable to the banks, has put the complete onus that beyond 10,000 rupees, the liability is on the bank.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear from them.
Sure. So I think there are a lot of bankers in this room. So I think we should try and cover that. I think again in the first session itself, to say that what are the awareness steps and how are we responding to the DCSE codes and the guidelines and how are we responding to customer complaints. Good. I think I hope this has generated a lot of feedback in terms of what are the expectations everybody has, and I think we've got a diverse set of expectations. We will pass on these to the respective panels, and make sure that those aspects are getting covered. If they are not, please make sure that, you ask those questions then, and we get the answers around that as well. So thank you very much. Welcome to the conference, and let's have a good one. Thank you.